Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're digging into how your body actually handles the fats you eat. We're looking at a transcript from Metabolism Made Easy. And our mission really is to map out the key steps. How does fat get from your plate into your tissues?
It's a surprisingly complex trip.
It really is. Ever wonder why fat needs, special treatment compared to something like sugar? Why can't it just hop into the blood?
Yeah, that's the core question. And it starts, interestingly enough, in your small intestine.
Okay, so after the stomach.
Exactly. The main player there is an enzyme called pancreatic lipase. Think of it as molecular scissors.
Scissors, okay. Cutting what?
It cuts down the main dietary fats called triacylglycerols, these big molecules, into smaller, manageable pieces.
Small pieces like?
Specifically, one monoacylglycerol and two free fatty acids. These are small enough for the intestinal lining to absorb.
Okay, so break it down to absorb it. Makes sense. But I read they don't stay broken down.
That's the really fascinating twist. Once inside the intestinal cells, the mucosa, those absorbed bits, the monoacylglycerol and fatty acids, they get rebuilt.
Rebuilt back into the original big fat molecule.
Pretty much, yeah. Back into triacylglycerol. It's like this little assembly line inside each cell.
But why? Why break it down just to rebuild it? Seems inefficient.
It seems like it, but it's crucial. Fats are hydrophobic.
Meaning they hate water.
Right. And your blood is mostly water. So just dumping raw fat in wouldn't work well. It would clump up.
Okay, so the rebuilding is part of preparing it for travel in a watery environment.
Precisely. And it's not just rebuilt. This newly reassembled triacylglycerol gets packaged up.
Packaged? Like in a little box?
Sort of. It's bundled together with other lipids like phospholipids and cholesterol, plus a specific protein called apoprotein B48.
Okay, quite a mix. What's this package called?
This whole structure is called a chylomicron. It's essentially a tiny fat transport vehicle.
A chylomicron. And it's mostly fat.
Oh, yeah. About 85% is that reassembled triacylglycerol. The rest is, those phospholipids, cholesterol, and the protein coat.
And that protein, ApoB48, what's its job?
Think of ApoB48 as, the shipping label or the key. It's essential for getting the chylomicron out of the intestinal cell.
Out and into, not the blood directly, right? You mentioned the water issue.
Correct. It first enters the lymphatic system. It's kind of a secondary circulatory system. From the lymph, it eventually merges into the bloodstream.
So a bit of a detour through the lymph first. Okay, now the chylomicrons, these fat packages, are finally in the blood. Where do they go?
They circulate around the body. Now, the tissues that need fat, like muscles for energy or adipose tissue for storage, they have another enzyme waiting.
Another enzyme.
Yep. This one's called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL. It sits on the inner surface of blood vessels, the endothelium, especially near those tissues.
Okay, so it's waiting on the blood vessel wall.
Exactly. And as a chylomicron floats by, LPL acts on it. It basically unpacks it.
Unpacks it, so it brings down the triacylglycerol again.
It does. It liberates those fatty acids right there on the doorstep of the cells that need them.
Wow. So break down, absorb, rebuild, package, transport, then break down again for delivery.
That's the journey in a nutshell. Those freed fatty acids can then be taken up by the nearby muscle or fat cells.
It really is quite a transformation, not just simple absorption.
Absolutely. The key takeaway is that fat needs this whole specialized process breakdown, reassembly into chylomicrons, lymph travel, then final breakdown to get where it needs to go effectively.
That idea of the intestinal cell being a temporary processing and packaging plant is quite the revelation. It's not just a simple doorway.
It really highlights the body's ingenuity.
Definitely an aha moment for me.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? Consider how finely tuned the system is just to deliver energy from fat. What happens if one part, say, the chylomicron formation or the LPL enzyme isn't working right?
Yeah, the potential implications are huge.
It prompts a broader question, too. What other simple things our bodies do might have these hidden layers of incredible complexity we just take for granted?
Something definitely worth pondering. Thanks for walking us through that.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating pathway.